Don't breathe. That's pretty good. Well, happy Friday and welcome to another edition of From the Shore, the official online video of the Skaneateles Journal and Skaneatelesjournal.com. I'm editor Jonathan Monfiletto.
And I'm reporter Christopher Malone. We are live at Shotwell Park.
And that's... Go ahead. Sorry.
No.
Didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's okay.
Mojo.
We sometimes speak. We're probably going to say the same thing because we finish each other's sentences now.
We do. We're just that good. Chris has only been on the job for, what, 4.5 months now?
Yeah.
Going on 5, actually.
Going on
pretty
5.
soon. So we're just getting that good at what we do. Anyway, as I was going to say, and Chris is probably going to say the same thing, we're getting ready to, of course, kick off the Memorial Day weekend. And this is where, on Monday, Memorial Day, of course, the Skaneateles American Legion will host the annual Memorial Day ceremony. What they do is they start out from the American Legion post up on Jordan Street. They walk virtually across the street to St. Mary's Cemetery. They go down Jordan Street. They come all around the corner at Genesee Street. They go past us a little bit up to Lakeview Cemetery. And of course, at each cemetery, lay wreaths and play taps and render the salute. And then they come back down here for the ceremony. They have a speaker. They'll do, the Pledge of Allegiance. They'll do a flyover, the whole 9 yards. And it's always a sight to see, and we thought we'd kind of show it to you a little bit. And if you haven't been down to Shotwell Park, another feature that's out of sight right now, but a great sight to see, is there's plaques of each war that America has been involved in, featuring an honor roll of all the Skaneateles residents that have served their country during those conflicts. And as we move to another part of the park, Chris, you've got a couple of Memorial Day ceremonies going on this weekend as well.
Yes, on Sunday we have Spafford, the 900-foot infamous shortest parade in all of Onondaga County. They will be taking place, of course, in Spafford, going to the park, and afterwards Catco and DeFrancisco, our nation's representative and our state representative, will be making speeches to represent and mark the occasion, which is kind of a big deal. I think it'll be a good turnout for Spafford because of these two politicians that will be present. So I'm curious to see what they're going to talk about. And then, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, just me too. Of course, you guys can make sure you read that in the paper next week.
And in Marcellus on Monday morning, 10 o'clock, they will be having their parade starting at Reed Parkway, right in the village. So that should be a fun event too. Nothing too big going on. I haven't heard of any big explosions or fireworks or anything. So it should be a nice, low-key Marcellus type of celebration. I'm excited to see what's going on.
Speaking of a few big events, as always would like to show off the front page of the paper. Don't be alarmed, there's only a mock DWI that Chris covered this week. Talk about that.
Yeah, the mock DWI, happened at Austin Park, the Pavilion. Both seniors and juniors participated in this event, and it was an eye-opening event for me as well because this is the first time I've ever seen a mock DWI take place. Our high school, Western State, never did that when I was in high school, and just to see the reactions of the kids was phenomenal. Here they were coming into the setup knowing that it's a mock scenario, but everything was so realistic, from the sirens arriving on the scene to everything that took place afterwards, the panic, the procedure. It was definitely pulled at your heartstrings.
And of course, speaking of the Skaneateles Memorial Day ceremony coming up in a couple of days, I had the pleasure last week of visiting with Jack and Angie Gregory. Jack is a Skaneateles native. They now live in Senate between Auburn and Skaneateles. Back in 1990, around 1991, he started collecting military vehicles. He would buy them and restore them, and actually now, since then, has featured them in the Memorial Day Parade. Angie said, hey, with Memorial Day coming up, why don't you come on down and check out the collection? And that's what I did. That's in this week's paper. It was a neat collection, everything from a Willys Jeep from the Korean War to actually an amphibious vehicle similar to what would have been used on D-Day. There's a little bomb cart that carries a few little bombs and a howitzer cannon that they have on a trailer.
Wow.
All kinds of trucks and Jeeps and Just a really neat collection and a nice tribute to our men and women in the military. And like I said, you can see that in the paper this week, and also if you come down to the parade in Skaneateles on Monday, you'll get to see the vehicles in action then.
Was there an opportunity to go in the vehicles?
I don't think so. They're only for the parade, unfortunately.
Okay.
But
that'd be interesting to see what everything looks like as far as.
Well, you should check out the story.
Yeah, I will check out the story.
If you get time and you get down into Marcellus, come out to Skaneateles.
Yeah, it's close by, so yeah, definitely. I have to pass on through. So.
Sure. Talk about some of the things you've covered this week that we covered in the next
let's see. I took a visit to Lake House Pub and talked to Marianne, one of the managers there, and we just, pardon me, we talked about, I think a fly flew in my throat. We're in a different part, there's lots of bugs flying around. Anyways, aside the embarrassment, we talked about how Lake House opened up about 3 years ago. It's going to be 3 years in August, and how they took the role of Morris's Grill, which unfortunately closed its doors in 2009. But with the Coleman's aspect and the Morris's legacy, both of them kind of fused together to bring back new and old customers, and just to bring that pub to the village of Skaneateles, something that's not here. Yeah, there's the tavern and there's Blue Water Grill, but there's no pub. So, for the great atmosphere that it presents, live music, trivia on Tuesdays, there's a lot to offer.
Actually, speaking of pubs, not quite a pub, but I actually had the opportunity earlier this week to talk to Tom Girardi. I'm gonna guess that's how you pronounce it. He's actually opening out a new business called Finger Lakes on Tap, and this is great news for the community because it's in the former Creekside spot. He will offer 60 taps of craft beer, 51 kinds from New York State.
Wow.
He's hoping to open by July 1st. We got to check it out. There's definitely some renovations going on in there, and he's hopeful and he's excited, and that should be a great place to go. He likes, I asked him, kind of why he picked that spot, and one of the things he mentioned was that, Creekside was kind of a gathering place for the community. And that's what he wants us to be. He wants people to come in and try the craft beer and sample what the state has to offer, but also just come in and relax and hang out and have some conversation with him. So it should be I know I plan on checking it out once it opens, and it should be great to see.
You mentioned something about Beacon Skiff earlier this week?
Yeah, of course. I forgot to mention that. 60 taps for craft beer. 3 more for cider from Beacon Skiff, and I've had their cider before. It's pretty delicious.
I'm not a cider fan, but I love Beacon Skiff. I've attended many events there. A lot of Syracuse I'm involved with the Syracuse Buy Local scene, and I got to guest bartend at Beacon Skiff, and that was a lot of fun, just pouring and celebrating everything that's good about our area.
And if you love buying local, you're gonna love this, I guess. It's like I said, it's 60 taps and 51 of them are New York State beers. Of course, the craft beer industry is growing around the state, so it should be neat to check out. And of course, it's great to see what was Creekside to open back up again, get that spot back open in the community. So, of course, check out this week's paper. Got it right here. You can get yourself a copy at a newsstand around Skaneateles or Marcellus or Spafford, or subscribe to it, of course. And always visit us at Skaneatelesjournal.com. Many more stories coming up next week, both in print and online, so check us out. And as we always say, follow us on Twitter at Scan_Monfiletto
and Scan_Malone.
All right, have a great weekend. Happy Memorial Day. Thanks for watching.